It all started on a lazy Sunday afternoon. The kind of day where the sun filters through the blinds in golden streaks, and the house is so quiet you can hear the hum of the refrigerator in the kitchen. I was in my room, the door locked, as I often did when I wanted a little privacy. My sister, Emily, was out with her friends, and my parents were running errands. The house was mine, and for once, I felt free to explore something I had been curious about for a long time. I had always been fascinated by the idea of crossdressing. It wasn't something I talked about with anyone, not my friends, not my family, and certainly not Emily. But the curiosity had been gnawing at me for years. What would it feel like to slip into a dress, to feel the fabric against my skin, to see myself in the mirror as someone entirely different? That day, I decided to find out. I had been planning this for weeks. I had secretly ordered a dress online, a simple yet elegant black number that I thought would suit me. It arrived in a plain brown box, and I had hidden it in the back of my closet, buried under a pile of old sweaters and jeans. Now, with the house empty, I finally had the chance to try it on. I pulled the dress out of its hiding place and held it up to the light. It was beautiful, soft, flowing, and just the right size. My heart raced as I stripped down to my boxers and slid the dress over my head. The fabric felt cool against my skin, and I shivered as it settled around my body. I stepped in front of the mirror and stared at my reflection. The person staring back at me was both familiar and foreign. The dress hugged my frame in a way that felt surprisingly natural, and for a moment, I allowed myself to imagine what it would be like to live as this version of myself. I was so lost in the moment that I didn't hear the front door open. I didn't hear the footsteps coming down the hall. I didn't even hear the knock on my door. The first sign that I wasn't alone was the sound of the doorknob turning. My heart stopped as the door swung open, and there stood Emily, her eyes wide with shock. For a moment, neither of us moved. I was frozen in place, my face burning with embarrassment, while Emily just stood there, her mouth hanging open. Then, slowly, a grin spread across her face. Well, she said, stepping into the room and closing the door behind her. What do we have here? I wanted to disappear. I wanted the ground to open up and swallow me whole. But there was no escape. Emily crossed her arms and leaned against the door, her eyes scanning me from head to toe. I can't explain. I stammered, though I had no idea what to say. Emily raised an eyebrow. Oh, this I've got to hear. I took a deep breath, trying to steady my nerves. I was just curious. I wanted to see what it would feel like to wear a dress. That's all. Emily's grin widened. Curious, huh? Well, you certainly look interesting. I could feel my face turning red. Please, Emily, don't tell anyone. I'll never do it again, I swear. Emily tilted her head, studying me for a moment. Then, to my surprise, she walked over to my closet and started rummaging through it. Not bad, she said, pulling out a pair of heels I had also hidden away. But if you're going to do this, you're going to do it right. I blinked, confused. What do you mean? Emily turned to me, her eyes sparkling with mischief. I mean, if you're going to crossdress, you're going to need a proper wardrobe. And lucky for you, I happen to be an expert. I stared at her, unsure if she was serious. You're not mad? Emily laughed. Mad? No. Surprised? Definitely. But this could be fun. Come on, let's see what we can do with you. Before I could protest, Emily was pulling me toward her room. She sat me down in front of her vanity and started rummaging through her makeup drawer. First things first, she said, holding up a foundation brush. We need to even out your skin tone. I opened my mouth to argue, but Emily cut me off. Relax, I know what I'm doing. Just sit still and let me work my magic. I had no choice but to comply. Emily worked with the precision of a professional, applying foundation, blush, and eyeshadow with practiced ease. She even managed to get me to hold still long enough to apply mascara and lipstick. When she was done, she stepped back to admire her handiwork. Not bad, she said, nodding approvingly. Now, let's see what we can do about your hair. Emily spent the next hour styling my hair, curling it into soft waves that framed my face. She even dug out a few hair accessories to complete the look. By the time she was done, I barely recognized myself in the mirror. "There," Emily said, stepping back with a satisfied smile. "Now you look like a proper lady." I stared at my reflection, my heart pounding in my chest. The person staring back at me was beautiful, but it wasn't me. Or was it? I couldn't tell anymore. Emily must have seen the confusion on my face because she placed a hand on my shoulder. "Hey, it's okay to be curious. There's nothing wrong with exploring who you are. And if this is something you want to do, I'm here to help." I looked up at her, tears welling in my eyes. "Thank you, Emily." I don't know what to say." Emily smiled. "You don't have to say anything. Just promise me one thing." "What's that?" "Promise me you'll let me take you shopping. Because, no offense, that dress is so last season." I laughed, the tension in my chest finally easing.
"Deal."
And just like that, my sister took control of my wardrobe. Over the next few weeks, Emily became my personal stylist, helping me build a new wardrobe that was both feminine and fashionable. She taught me how to walk in heels, how to apply makeup, and even how to accessorize. It was like having my own personal fairy godmother, and I couldn't have been more grateful. But as much as I enjoyed our little project, I couldn't shake the feeling that I was living a double life. During the day, I was the same old me, jeans, t-shirts, and sneakers. But at night, when the house was quiet, I would slip into one of my new dresses and lose myself in the fantasy. It was exhilarating, but it was also exhausting. I knew I couldn't keep this up forever. One evening, as Emily and I were going through her latest haul of clothes, I finally worked up the courage to ask her the question that had been weighing on my mind. "Emily, do you think I could ever do this in public?" Emily looked up from the dress she was holding, her expression thoughtful. "Do you want to?" I hesitated, then nodded. "I think so. But I'm scared. What if people don't accept me? What if they laugh at me?" Emily placed a hand on my arm. "Listen, there will always be people who don't understand. But that doesn't mean you should hide who you are. If this is something that makes you happy, then you should go for it. And if anyone gives you a hard time, they'll have to answer to me." I smiled, feeling a surge of gratitude for my sister. "Thanks, Emily. I don't know what I'd do without you." Emily grinned. "You'd be stuck wearing that old dress, that's what. Now, let's see if we can find you something to wear for your big debut." With Emily's help, I started to venture out in public as my true self. At first, it was just small outings, a trip to the mall, a walk in the park. But as my confidence grew, so did my courage. I started going to cafes, movie theaters, and even a few parties. It wasn't always easy. There were stares, whispers, and the occasional rude comment, but I refused to let it get to me. I was finally living my truth, and that was all that mattered. Emily was by my side every step of the way, cheering me on and offering her support. She even helped me come out to our parents, who, to my surprise, were more accepting than I had expected. They didn't fully understand, but they loved me, and that was enough. Looking back, I can't believe how far I've come. What started as a simple curiosity has turned into a journey of self-discovery, and I have my sister to thank for that. Emily didn't just take control of my wardrobe. She took control of my life in the best possible way. She helped me find the courage to be myself, and for that, I will always be grateful. So, if you ever find yourself standing in front of a mirror, wondering what it would be like to step into a different version of yourself, I say go for it. You never know where it might lead. And if you're lucky, you might just have a sister like Emily to guide you along the way. As the weeks turned into months, my confidence grew, and so did my wardrobe. Emily and I became a dynamic duo, constantly on the lookout for new outfits, accessories, and makeup trends. She had an eye for fashion that I could only dream of, and I trusted her completely when it came to styling me. It was as if she had unlocked a part of me that I didn't even know existed, a part that was bold, expressive, and unapologetically feminine. One Saturday morning, Emily barged into my room with a mischievous grin on her face. "Get up, sleepyhead. We're going shopping." I groaned, pulling the covers over my head. "It's too early for this, Em." She yanked the blanket off me, revealing the oversized t-shirt and sweatpants I had slept in. "Early? It's 10 a.m. Besides, I found this amazing boutique downtown that's having a sale. You're not going to want to miss this. I sat up, rubbing the sleep from my eyes. Fine, but you're buying me coffee first. Deal, she said, tossing a pair of jeans at me. Now hurry up. We've got a lot of ground to cover. An hour later, we were walking through the doors of the boutique Emily had been raving about. The place was a treasure trove of dresses, skirts, blouses, and shoes in every color and style imaginable. My eyes widened as I took it all in. This place is amazing, I whispered, running my fingers over a sequin dress. Emily grinned. Told you. Now let's get to work. For the next 2 hours, we tried on what felt like half the store. Emily was relentless, pulling outfits off the racks and shoving them into my arms. Try this, she'd say, handing me a floral maxi dress. And this, she'd add, tossing a leather jacket on top. I felt like a mannequin, but I couldn't complain. Every outfit she picked out was perfect, and I was having the time of my life. By the time we left the boutique, my arms were loaded with shopping bags, and my wallet was significantly lighter. But it was worth it. I felt like a new person, someone who was confident, stylish, and ready to take on the world. As we walked back to the car, Emily linked her arm through mine. You know, you're really good at this. I raised an eyebrow. Good at what? Spending money. She laughed.
No, silly.
At being you. You've come so far since that first day. I'm really proud of you. I felt a lump form in my throat. Thanks, Em. That means a lot. She squeezed my arm. Anytime. Now, let's get home so you can show off your new wardrobe. Over the next few weeks, I started to experiment more with my style. I mixed and matched pieces from my new wardrobe, creating outfits that were uniquely me. I even started to incorporate more feminine elements into my everyday look, a touch of mascara here, a pair of earrings there. It was subtle, but it made a world of difference. One evening, as I was getting ready for a night out with Emily and her friends, I found myself staring at my reflection in the mirror. I was wearing a sleek black dress with a plunging neckline, paired with a bold red lip and smoky eye makeup. I looked stunning. But more than that, I felt like myself, truly, authentically myself. Emily walked into the room and let out a low whistle.
Wow.
You look amazing. I turned to her, a smile spreading across my face. Thanks. I feel amazing.
She grinned.
Good. Because tonight, we're going to turn some heads. And turn heads we did. As we walked into the club, I could feel the eyes on me. But for the first time, I didn't feel self-conscious. I held my head high, my confidence radiating like a beacon. Emily and her friends were by my side, cheering me on and making sure I had the time of my life. As the night went on, I found myself dancing with a group of strangers, laughing and letting loose in a way I never had before. It was liberating, exhilarating, and utterly unforgettable. For the first time in my life, I felt like I belonged. The next morning, as I lay in bed nursing a slight headache, I couldn't stop smiling. Last night had been a turning point for me, a moment where I fully embraced who I was and didn't care what anyone else thought. And it was all thanks to Emily. I heard a knock on my door, and Emily poked her head in. You alive in here? I groaned, pulling the covers over my head. Barely. She laughed, walking over to my bed and sitting down. Well, you were the life of the party last night. Everyone was talking about you. I peeked out from under the covers. Really? She nodded. Really? You were amazing. And I'm not just saying that because I'm your sister. I smiled, feeling a warmth spread through my chest. Thanks, Sam. I couldn't have done it without you. She reached out and squeezed my hand. You're stronger than you think, you know. And I'm so proud of you. Tears welled up in my eyes, and I quickly blinked them away. I'm proud of me too. Emily grinned. Good. Now get up. We've got brunch plans, and you're not going to want to miss the mimosas. I laughed, throwing off the covers and sitting up. Fine, but you're paying. Deal, she said, standing up and heading for the door. Now hurry up. You've got a reputation to uphold. As I got ready for brunch, I couldn't help but reflect on how far I'd come. What had started as a secret curiosity had blossomed into a full-blown transformation, one that had changed my life in ways I never could have imagined. And through it all, Emily had been my rock, my cheerleader, and my guiding light. I slipped into a chic jumpsuit and applied a light layer of makeup, feeling more confident than ever. As I walked out of my room, I knew that this was just the beginning. There was still so much to explore, so much to learn, and so much to experience. But for the first time, I felt ready to face it all, head-on and unapologetically. Emily was waiting for me by the door, her eyes lighting up as she saw me. "Ready?" I smiled, linking my arm through hers. "Ready." And with that, we stepped out into the world, ready to take on whatever came our way. Thank you so much for watching till now. It means the world to have you here. This community is all about empowering each other and celebrating the incredible journeys of everyone on their path to living authentically. If you're ever feeling lost or alone, remember you have a whole family here for you. Hit that subscribe button, smash that like button, and let's keep inspiring each other, sending you all the love and strength in the world. Until next time, live your life by your rules.